Welcome to the Icons Leadership in Sports. I'm your host, Rick Horrow. Every month on the Icons, we'll talk to some of the biggest names in sports about their upbringing, their career, how they give back, and lessons they've learned along the way. This month, we have one of the greatest coaches to ever walk the sideline, six-time national champion, Nick Saban. Let's get started by going inside the Icons. Nick Saban was born and raised in a small town in West Virginia. As you'll hear shortly, his father started the Pop Warner team he played on as a child. He was quarterback of the state champions in high school, but played defensive back in college at Kent State for coaching legend Don James. Saban married his wife Terry while in college. They'll celebrate their 50th anniversary in 2021. Together, they've raised and donated over $9 million to hundreds of organizations through their nonprofit, Nick's Kids. And let's not forget to mention Saban's sideline success. 6 national titles, 8 SEC titles, and the third best winning percentage among active coaches. He'll forever be named among the greatest coaches in college football history. Recently, Saban was named to the board of the National Coalition of Minority Football Coaches, which aims to promote and produce qualified minority coaches at every level of football. We sat down with Coach Saban at his football offices in Tuscaloosa between summer camp sessions. So Pop Warner football was a big part of your dad's life. Tell us what you remember about growing up in West Virginia and being your dad's son, basically.
Yeah, well, you know, I had great parents. I was very fortunate, but anyone out there that their dad has been their coach, you know, that's an experience in and of itself. But my dad actually started Pop Warner football in our area in West Virginia. And it was a difficult area because we had like 7 coal mining towns that were up in hollows, and the players had a hard, they couldn't get to practice because we all got around hitchhiking, you know, I mean, and if the shift didn't change, there wasn't much traffic. So a lot of them didn't play sports. They didn't have the opportunity to get some of the lessons, life lessons that you can learn from playing sports. So my dad bought this little orange school bus. All right, and it had all these quotes like it's, you know, things that would help you be successful, like it's more important to be nice than it is to be important, you know, things like that.
Did he buy the bus with the quotes on them, or he put them on?
No, he put them all on there. But we would go to practice. He would go pick up everybody in all these hollows, take them to practice. We would practice, you know, take everybody home. Take about 45 minutes, and of course I was the first one on the bus and the last one off because that was home. That was the home stop. He really taught us the importance of work ethic, investing in your time in something rather than spending it. You reap what you sow, perseverance, and how you have to continue to learn from your failings, how to overcome adversity, you know, discipline to do things right. I mean, the old saying that I say all the time, you're going to suffer through one of 2 things in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. That was on the bus. It was there. All right, so all these things go way back. Yeah. But the opportunities that created, I mean, I know he had, not outside of myself, 3 players that, you know, made All-American at West Virginia University and graduated from college and had a lot better lives, and they may never have participated if it wasn't for that. And I'm sure that if you ask any of them, they would say, just like me, that a lot of those things that I learned playing, the value of athletics is really, really important to developing a lot of the characteristics that help you be successful in life. Pride in performance, overcoming adversity. I mean, all kinds of things as a competitor that makes you have a much better chance to be successful in life. And to this day, you know, with all these schemes that everybody runs and RPOs and spread and this and that and all that, we're still always talking about fundamental execution. You know, if we can block better and we can tackle better and we can do the fundamental things more correctly, play better as a team, play together better as a team.
This is for every girl who hears people say she won't make it, but refuses to listen. For every girl who thinks not about what she has to lose, but about what she has to gain. This is for every girl who doesn't look like everyone who's come before, but may look like those who will follow. This is for every diamond in the sky. This is for every girl.
Your dad instilling important values with you and the sayings on the bus, but how did he and Pop Warner impact how you coached before and how you coach today?
Well, I think because I started at an early age, and the importance was always on fundamental execution. I mean, we won a whole bunch of games in a row. Like, I can't even remember how many. We didn't win any the first year, but after that we won them all. But the emphasis was always on fundamental execution. How well you block, how well you tackle, and it was technical. You know, you had to technically do it correctly, which was the safest way to do it too, which was important. All right, so, and to this day, you know, with all these schemes that everybody runs and RPOs and spread and this and that and all that, we're still always talking about fundamental execution. You know, if we can block better and we can tackle better and we can do the fundamental things more correctly, play better as a team, play together better as a team, execute, you know, I mean, that's what they preached, you know, to us. Because we didn't probably have a whole lot of plays. You know, my sister's here because she has a grandson that goes to our camp, you know, right now. And she has the playbook. It was simple, pretty simple. But we won on execution, and I still believe in that.
Well, and the interesting thing as far as the dynamic of Pop Warner even today and building the brand, it's standing for consistency, certain values, safety as well. So you said safe. Talk about that for a little while.
Well, you know, we've actually done something here, and we have a camp for young kids, 8 through 12, I think it is, where most people just have high school camps and try to use them to recruit. We're really trying to promote our game, but we're also trying to develop coaches. And one of the things that we've done in this young camp is we bring in a lot of Pop Warner coaches. We invite a lot of Pop Warner coaches to come in, and the primary reason is we want to teach them, you know, some technical aspects that will make the game safer for the players. And tackling is a big one. You know, we teach near leg, near shoulder tackling, not hitting with your head. All right, well, that's really, really important. I think it makes the game safer. I think there's a lot of ways that you teach drills, all right, where players don't have to be on the ground, all right, and they can use their hands rather than their head, all right, to minimize contact. And I think a lot of these things are really, really important. Most players that get hurt in football get hurt on the ground. You know, somebody's rolling around on the ground and somebody else falls on them or whatever. So to stay off the ground and teach people how to stay up. These are all things that I think promote safety in the game. And I think the biggest mistake that we make in football is you don't have to have full contact to be able to get the benefit from the game.
Yeah.
You know, you can go out and practice 7-on-7. You can practice routes on air. You can practice one-on-one. You can practice a lot of things and get a lot out of the game of football without having to have contact. And I think there's certainly been a lot of studies done on how much contact young people before they're 12 years old should have. Yeah. And I think we should all take all those things into account. And we are going to do everything we can to promote better education in the coaches to teach the players safety in our game. You know, my dad's old saying was, no man stands as tall as when he stoops to help a child. So that's what we tried to carry on, and we're going to try to continue that in the future.
We can't offer much during this time of crisis, but we can offer what we have. So from all of us working early mornings on the farm, long days in the plant, or late nights stocking shelves, doing all we can to get you the milk you need. We hope it makes your breakfast a little brighter, your snacks more nutritious, and reminds you when it comes to caring, there is no expiration date. Milk. Love what's real.
As opposed to the politicizing, give up football, I'm not allowing my kids to play. It sounds like the secret sauce is the education early on.
Well, that's what we believe in, because I think football is the greatest team game that there is, and I don't think it's a dangerous game, but I think that it can be if it's not coached, where people are doing the fundamentals correctly, and not putting their players in positions where they're going to get multiple, head banging, that could, promote, issues. And I don't think that we have to do that to have a good game, and I don't think you have to do that to be a good coach. And there's a lot of these old-fashioned bull in the ring type drills that have no place in football, that nobody needs to do. And that's one of the reasons that we want to get as many of these coaches here and try to show them a better way, that they can be more effective in their teaching progression and actually create more safety for the player.
Let's talk about the better way off the field. The Nick's Kids Foundation, what you've done with Terry as far as some of the issues, not only the capital improvements, but the tornado relief in Tuscaloosa. Talk about all of that from your perspective.
Well, that goes back to my dad too, because he didn't just pick these kids up in that bus and take them to practice. He sort of adopted them all. All right, so when their basketball blew up, he took them to town and got them another one. When the rim at the church wasn't shootable anymore, he got him a new one. My mom always said, if you ever have the opportunity, your dad's legacy was to help young people. Do something to do that. So Nick's Kids stands for Big Nick, not Little Nick. I'm Little Nick. All right, but Miss Terry and the people who support Nick's Kids have done a phenomenal job of, I think, being able to create a lot of positive things in our community. You know, we've done the 17 for 17, which is 17 homes that we've rebuilt since the tornado for every national championship, and our players have contributed to each one of those homes. You know, we have player days where they come and work, and they give back to the community as well. We've given over $7 million to children's organizations in the Southeast over the last 10 years. You know, we do first generation scholarships, community center at the church. We're building a school at the Juvenile Delinquent Center to promote education, graduating from high school, and teaching a welding trade. So these guys aren't repeat offenders. They have something they can do in the community. So all these things give us tremendous positive self-gratification by giving back, helping other people. Don't really feel much that we do that makes us feel better than when we help someone else. And you know, my dad's old saying was, "No man stands as tall as when he stoops to help a child." So that's what we tried to carry on, and we're going to try to continue that in the future, and we certainly thank all the people who have supported Nick's Kids.
And the first scholarship that Pop Warner ever named after a person specifically was Nick Saban scholarship, and it's not you, it's your dad.
It's my dad.
How does it make you feel?
That's great. It makes me feel great because it's all a part of his legacy. You know, it's all the things that was important to him, and I hope that people appreciate and remember that. That's the one thing that everybody should really, really focus on, is if we don't have these kind of sports opportunities for our young people, where do they learn these things and what they do now?
This is not about baseball. It's dedication. It's commitment. It's about developing a mindset in our youth. A mindset that transforms into true character. Old habits abandoned. Disadvantaged. Distressed. New fields envisioned as new opportunities. Instructors teaching life. Lesson learned. This is not about baseball. Help us make an impact on the lives of children in need. Go to ripkenfoundation.org/donations and make a difference.
How do you make sure that your kids, you recruit and have an obligation long term, do the right thing, say the right thing, behave the right way off the field as well?
Well, our whole goal in the program here is to help our players be more successful in life for having been involved in the program. So, their thoughts, their habits, their priorities, the choices and decisions they make are going to go a long way to helping them create value. And that starts with the kind of person that they are, the kind of character they have, the kind of integrity they have, the kind of trust you can have in them. And that all comes from the basic values that we try to establish that they have to buy into to really play and be to the standard as a person, as a student, and as a player that we would like for them to be. And we try to create a culture of accountability for them to do that. But I'm very pleased and proud with the success that we've had. But those same things, just so everybody's clear, I had the opportunity to learn when I played Pop Warner. And I think that's the one thing that everybody should really, really focus on, is if we don't have these kind of sports opportunities for our young people, where do they learn these things in what they do now? And you know, in some cases, you know, kids don't even play outside anymore. Yeah. All right, but they will go outside for organized activities. And I think these organized activities, the commitment, the work ethic, the discipline, the focus, all the things that you mentioned are really important. And where do you get that if you don't participate in something?
You're on the greatest leaders in the history of the world list from Fortune magazine. It is kind of interesting. How much of that was intuitive and how much of that is just learned from heroes and history, and you know, where does that all come from?
Well, I think it started when I was young, and I think it started with the lessons I learned from my parents. Yeah. They had a high standard and high expectation, but they also had tremendous compassion for other people. And it was always instilled in me that you need to set a good example. You need to be somebody that somebody can emulate. That was the expectation. But there was also an expectation there that you have to care enough for other people to help them for their benefit. And the combination of those two things, I think, is the fundamental start of being a leader, because those two things are really important parts of being able to impact other people. And it was always about just do it for one person. I think a lot of people think leadership has to be a group dynamic. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's the power of one. It's one person affecting one person who affects another person, and then it just grows. So I think it started at an early age for me. And then I think I was really fortunate that I had some great mentors. You know, my high school coach, Earl Keener, Don James, my college coach, fabulous, you know, example of what you needed to do to be successful and to be a good leader. And so I feel very, very fortunate with those opportunities, and then the opportunities I had as a coach to impact other people in a leadership position. And that's the one thing that I think I'll miss most about coaching, is not being a part of a team and not being able to lead and impact other people when the day comes that I can't do this, which I hope is not soon. You know, I think all those things are just a part of who we are. I mean, Terry and I both. Right. And she does a lot of the work. I just do a lot of the fundraising.
You do more than that. Okay, so.
It's been 20 years since we planted our first vines at Max Creek, and we're still in love with every step of the winemaking process. But if you haven't been to see us in Lexington lately, there's some new things to experience along the banks of Spring Creek, like hard cider and craft beer on tap, along with all your traditional favorites. And on our outdoor patio, every sip tastes even better. So bring the family. Our family is waiting for you at Max Creek.
You're a leader, you're a businessman, you're a philanthropist, you're a coach. How do you balance all of that?
You know, I think all those things are just a part of who we are. I mean, Terry and I both.
Right.
And she does a lot of the work. I just do a lot of the fundraising.
You do more than that, okay? So don't minimize it. You do more than that, okay?
So, but
well done. We're gonna save this. We're gonna give it to Terry. She'll see it.
Yeah.
She'll love this.
So, but it is what I believe and what I want to do.
Yeah.
It just is hard to implement from a time standpoint, and she's a great partner to do that, and we have a lot of other people who've been very supportive from that side of it. But I've always remembered that this is my day job. All right, this is the real job, being a coach, having great relationships with the players, you know, recruiting good players into the program, bringing good people in the organization and helping them develop to be successful is going to help us be successful. And we've always stayed focused on that. And we've been fortunate to have good partners, whether it's Terry and Nick's kids or, you know, Joe Agressi, my partner, and, you know, some of the businesses and other folks, that they manage that. You know, I don't take my time to do that because my priority is this program and our players, and that's what we're going to stay focused on. And then we're going to build a team of people to help us do the other things that we believe are important to the community and to our overall welfare and well-being of our family.
It's kind of fun to end on this. So Minkah Fitzpatrick writes a kind of farewell long letter. He says, "Thank you, Alabama." And he said, "I chose Alabama because I wanted to be at a place that would push me to become the best version of myself I could possibly be, and man, did it ever." You read something and you hear something like that, and I'm sure it makes you proud.
No doubt. I mean, it really does. And that's what we want for our players. We want them to have a great experience here, feel like they've grown as people, and that they have a better chance to be successful in life, on and off the field. I think Minkah probably is one of those guys that will be a tremendous ambassador because of the experience he had here. And I think that's a basic fundamental part of having great tradition, which has always been something that makes Alabama special.
Well, as you continue to go through the maelstrom of college football as it evolves, you don't need me or anybody else to say this, but just stay the way you are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
Very much.
Thank you.
Nick Saban in a very rare interview session. He's in fact as proud of his dad's accomplishments with Pop Warner as he is with his own on the field. Next month, college, NBA, and sports broadcasting legend Bill Walton. Our biggest challenge, believe me, will be fitting his interview into just 30 minutes.
I grew up through basketball with a life of hope, opportunity, and purpose. That transitioned over now 67 years to include pride, loyalty, and gratitude. And I am most appreciative of all the sacrifice of Bill Russell and Muhammad Ali and Spencer Haywood and Wilt Chamberlain and all the guys, John Wooden, and to get to meet all these guys. The beauty of sport is that it teaches you everything about life.
Until then, I'm your host, Rick Horrow. See you next time on the Icons, Leadership in Sports.